Hey wild ones, I'm Lucy, and this is Pussy Powered. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 nonverbal ways to connect with your lover that do not involve sex. I hear often from so many women that they crave this closeness and this intimacy with their partners, which often is misinterpreted as an invitation to sex when they're not quite ready or when their bodies are not quite on board. Often what's missing in those moments for those women is the connection, feeling seen, feeling cared for, feeling like they're not just an access point to their lover's orgasm. And actually, so much of this really has to do with creating a sense of safety within our bodies and within our relationship. So when you want to connect with your partner, but you can't quite find the words, or maybe the words are getting in the way, triggering old patterns and old wounds, or bringing up old stories about each other or resentments that are not really working for you right now, here are 3 things you can do to begin building that deeper trust and sense of safety with your partner. The first thing is to do some free-flowing movement together. Now, this is something that I recommend for absolutely anyone who can physically move their bodies individually on their own as a daily practice. But for the sake of this video and connecting with a partner, it takes it to a whole other level when you can engage in this kind of movement with another person. So to do this, decide on what kind of music you want to play ahead of time so you're not scrambling and needing to potentially disagree or argue about the music choice. Find something that suits whatever mood, whatever energy you want to tap into during your movement time together. It could be something slow and sensual and romantic, or something raw and dirty and raunchy. It could be something more emotionally intense. Whatever you choose, the key is to move freely with the music. You don't even have to make any physical contact with your partner. Also, decide ahead of time for how long you're going to be doing this. Maybe you're just going to do it for one song. Maybe you're going to do it for 30 minutes straight. Come to a mutually agreed upon time, and within that container, you have all the space to move and flow and connect. What happens when you're doing this with your lover is you are witnessing the expression of their being, of their energy, of their emotion through movement, an expression that is not limited by words. And this can be such a powerful, connecting and healing activity. The second way to connect in a nonverbal way is to do some eye gazing. Just like it sounds, eye gazing is gazing into each other's eyes. What makes this such a powerful practice is how vulnerable it is. For so many people, it is extremely uncomfortable to look someone in the eyes, let alone gaze into their eyes for any extended period of time. But when you do, and especially when it's someone that you want to connect more deeply with, it can be a really profound experience. So to do this, again, decide ahead of time how long you're gonna be eye gazing for. I personally recommend a minimum of 2 minutes, since it can take a little time to work out the initial giggles and awkwardness that may be there. There's a reason they call the eyes the windows to the soul. When you're looking into each other's eyes, you can see their desire, their pain, their uncertainty, their insecurity, not in the minute details and the stories, but in the feeling of it. You can really see each other and be seen. And this is such an intimate practice, one that I actually recommend doing for at least some length of time every day if you can. The third nonverbal way to connect with your lover that does not involve sex is soft, sensual touch. Now hear me out on this. So many of us could use a little bit of learning on how we can separate sensual touch from sex, because they are not the same thing, nor does sensual touch always lead to sex. In fact, the safety that we often are lacking within our bodies, that begins with learning how to touch and be touched in a way that is a full yes. So for the sensual touch, again, decide ahead of time how long you're going to set aside for this practice, and also decide which person is giving and receiving first, and for how long each person will be giving and receiving. All of these things are great practice in communication, by the way. Then the giving person will begin to slowly touch the receiving person, softly, not aggressively, and not sexually, okay? Like, don't go straight for the boobs and the pussy and the ass. Like, build that safety, build that trust. Let the receiving person really begin to soften and open up. So a really great place to begin that I really love is right here along the forehead, the temples. The face is so sensitive to touch. It feels really good. And the slower you go, the better. Also be sure to spend some time around the neck, the ears, the collarbones, the shoulders, the arms, the palms of the hands, and the soles of the feet can be extremely pleasurable and sensitive zones. Notice what it feels like to take your time and to go slow. Often what we discover during practices like these is how goal-oriented we tend to be and how rushed we are to get to that finish line, whether it's in sex or in life or even in a conversation. Nonverbal practices like these ones will help to build a deeper sense of felt connection and trust beyond whatever words can express, because we can say that we trust each other. We can say that we want to be intimate in a sexual way. We can say that we're totally down with something, but our bodies will ultimately speak the truth, even when our minds are not even aware that they're not. So with these practices, you learn how to better honor your body and how to better honor your partner's body, all of which contribute to a beautiful, passionate sex life and a connected, trusting relationship. All right, loved ones, that's it for today. 3 non-verbal ways to connect with your lover that do not involve sex. Although, hey, if you incorporate these things into your foreplay, just notice how different sex feels. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with some friends, and subscribe for more on sexual empowerment and healing for women and people with vulvas. And if you're ready to go deeper on your journey of self-discovery, awakening your pleasure, and releasing limiting beliefs around your sexuality and your pleasure, check out my 30-day program, Pussy Magic. The link is in the description below. In the meantime, here's to your awakening and your pleasure for a pussy-powered life.